Welcome to JM Racing Network for today's coverage of the AfterShokz Cup Series Publix Duel at Daytona, where the field for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, will be set. 43 drivers are attempting the Daytona 500, but only 40 will make it into the show, which means that 3 drivers will end up going fishing after these 2 races. The front row starters for the Daytona 500 will be dropping to the back before the green flag waves. So that means Julius Anderson, who's racing in Duel 1, which is about to begin, and Eric Keplinger, who's racing in Duel 2, will have to start last. The main reason for this is so they can avoid any crashes or anything, so they can maintain their front row starting position for the Daytona 500. So now we're gonna go trackside for the command. Drivers, start your engines!
Drivers have been waiting all off-season to hear those words.
You're right, they have, Jamie Little. Now we're going to have a look at our starting lineup for Duel number 1. On the pole, we have Julius Anderson, who's dropping to the rear. So that's going to give the first starting position to Hudson Chaffee in the number 3. Row 2, we have Cameron Davison and Matt Earnhardt, not related to any of the other Earnhardts in NASCAR. Row 3, we have Jackson Patrick and Landon Smith Jr. Row 4, we have Darren Daub and Steve Gates. Row 5, we have John Doe and Justin Brewer. Row 6, we have Michael Waddletrip and Chris Beasley. Row 7, we have the Obstacle Clash winner Mason Clements and Michael Labb Jr. Row 8, we got Matthias Watson and Daryl Michaels. Row 9, we have a driver who shares a name with one of the most mysterious drivers in NASCAR, L.W. Wright, alongside Blur Diaz. Row 10, we have Jack Ming and Leighton Mata. Row 11, we have Marty Dukakis, and rounding out the field is Cherie Spells. And the drivers with asterisks by their name are trying to race their way into the 500. As the green flag is out, and we are racing in Duel number 1 at Daytona. The top 3 have pulled away already, but here comes the 86 getting a push from the 10. And the 86 is going to take the lead. 1 lap to go. Now Davison and Patrick have pulled away as they're 3 wide behind them. And here comes Daub with a run, and oh, they crash. Coming to the line is going to be Davison winning the first duel. Cameron Davison, your winner in Duel number 1. So he'll start 3rd in the Daytona 500. Here are the results. Like I said, the winner was Cameron Davison. 2nd, Jackson Patrick. 3rd, Mason Clements. How about Matthias Watson in 4th? He's going to get a top 10 starting position in the Daytona 500. Rounding out the top 5 is Michael Labb Jr. 6th was Michael Waddletrip. 7th, Daryl Michaels. 8th, Matt Earnhardt. 9th, L.W. Wright. And rounding out the top 10 is Blur Diaz. 11th, Steve Gates, where his car number is. 12th, Jack Ming. 13th, Leighton Mata. 14th, Justin Brewer. 15th, Marty Dukakis. 16th, Cherie Spells. 17th, Chris Beasley. 18th, Daytona 500 pole sitter Julius Anderson. 19th, Landon Smith Jr. 20th, John Doe. 21st, Hudson Chaffee. And 22nd and last was Darren Daub. So the last 3 will have to go to the backup cars, including Matt Earnhardt and Landon Smith Jr. Smith received minor damage from that last lap crash, so he'll have to go to a backup car as well as the other 4 drivers I mentioned. And the final transfer spot goes to Leighton Mata in the 96. So that means he and Jack Ming in the 83 have raced their way into the Daytona 500. And Marty Dukakis in the 13 and Cherie Spells in the 78 have failed to qualify, unfortunately. As here's a replay of the last lap crash. You see Daub went down, didn't know the 3 was there, and he ended up taking himself out, as well as the 3 and the 4 of John Doe. As you see here, the 88 thought he was clear, and then he just ended up getting turned and hitting the wall. The 4 spins out. Here it is in real time. What a shame for those drivers. driving for some of the top teams in the series, get taken out on the last lap, so they're going to have to go to the rear for the Daytona 500. As now we are getting ready for duel number 2. Eric Keplinger on pole, but he is going to the rear just like Julius Anderson. So the first starting position is going to Jack Lawton. This race will determine the outside lane for the Daytona 500. 21 cars are in this field, unlike the last duel which had 22 cars and determined the inside lane. But how are they going to race in this duel? Are we going to see some more of the same stuff we saw in duel number 1? Or is it going to be more chaotic or more calm? Let's find out. Here's the command.
Gentlemen, fire up them horses!
Wow, what a great command by Dan LaJoy, the father of Randy LaJoy and the grandfather of Corey LaJoy. Now let's have a look at our starting lineup for this duel. Like I said, the pole sitter is Eric Keplinger, but he's dropping to the rear, so Jack Lawton's going to be your true pole sitter since he's going to roll off first. Row 2, we have Alistair Cole, finally I pronounced that right, alongside Bruce Jenkins. Row 3, we have Michael Hobbs and one of the favorites for this race, the Daytona 500, not the duel, Ryan Labonte. Row 4, we have Brett Wilson and Owen Miles. Row 5, we have Gillette Series regular Aiden Caldwell alongside Chase Powers, who moved up from the Gillette Series. Row 6, we have Trey Smith and James Stapleton. Row 7, we have another driver who moved up from Gillette, Cody Ballard, alongside Paul Brandonson Jr. Row 8, we have David Quintanar and Frodo Morales, a pair of teammates. Row 9, we have Casey Nanako, who was supposed to drive the 91 but is in the 23, alongside Joshua Smith. Row 10, we have Josh Drake and Go or Go Homer David Brewer. And rounding out the field, in row 11, is Jack Semery. And just like the last duel, the asterisks mean they're trying to race their way into the 500. As the green flag is in the air, and we're going racing for the second time today in duel number 2. Lawton with a good start. The 48 right behind him, as now the 41 gets in front of the 12. And now the 48 takes them side by side. 1 lap to go, but the 48 isn't going to take the lead. Alistair Cole moves up to second. But here comes the 24. He's got to run as the Coca-Cola racing cars are working together. Here they come to the line. The 24, too close to call. How about that? What a close finish. I think the 41 might have edged out the 24. Let's look at a replay of this finish. As you see, Lawton going to the outside as Hobbs goes down to the inside, and by that much, it looks like Jack Lawton did get the win over Hobbs. So NASCAR's confirmed it. Jack Lawton has won the second duel at Daytona by less than 1,000th of a second. How about that? This isn't even the first points race in the AfterShokz Cup Series, and we already have a photo finish in this series. Crazy stuff, am I right? So here are your results. Jack Lawton and Michael Hobbs obviously are 1-2. How about Cody Ballard in 3rd? Alistair Cole in 4th. Brett Wilson in 5th. David Quintanar in 6th after he and his 2 teammates worked together to get towards the front. Bruce Jenkins in 7th. Casey Nanako in 8th. Frodo Morales in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is Ryan Labonte. 11th, Aiden Caldwell. 12th, Owen Miles. 13th, Trey Smith. 14th, Chase Powers. 15th, James Stapleton. 16th, Paul Brandonson Jr. 17th, Josh Drake. 18th, Jack Semery. 19th was the 80 of Joshua Smith. Eric Keplinger finished last, and I did forget David Brewer. He finished 20th. But speaking of David Brewer, he unfortunately failed to qualify as the final transfer spot goes to Jax Emery. He and the number 52 Rick Ware Racing team have made the show. So I'll be posting the starting lineup for the Daytona 500 in the comments below. It will be the pinned comment. So, the next race, of course, is the Daytona 500. Stay tuned for that, because it's the Great American Race. Thank you guys for watching. This is Jonathan from JM Racing Network, signing out.